Welcome back. We're unpacking oil and gas sector and the Canadian energy sector at large as we shift with a new Liberal-led government with Mark Carney as our prime minister and what that future might look like now. Will policies change? Will the government reposition? We shall see. Joining me again is Cody Battershill, founder of Canada Action. Cody, right before we went to commercial break, you were beautifully describing why we should be developing our sector or I guess really to spell it out for us, what has been lost? We hear that Canada is one of the cleanest energy producers in the world. What happens when Canada doesn't live up to its task of unleashing its energy on the world?
Yeah, so let's go back to Keystone XL. And when Keystone XL was first delayed and protested by all these big environmental groups, oil demand around the world was like 92 million barrels a day. Fast forward today, Keystone XL's canceled, it wasn't built. Oil demand today is 104 million barrels a day. And so when we don't build Canadian pipelines, we see other suppliers of oil take our market share. We see other natural gas suppliers take our market share. And in the case of Canada, we've been selling discounted oil and gas to the United States, which has then often been re-exported to other countries for a higher price. That doesn't make any sense. And
But
when
why
you
do we
talk
why
about
do we do that? I know I hear that often. Why does Canada sell discounted oil and gas to the United States?
simply because we don't have any other options. We haven't historically had other options to sell our resources because we are landlocked and we've had this great relationship with the US, but maybe we need to be diversifying and maybe we want to have control and be a price setter rather than a price taker. So that's why LNG is so important and new pipelines has been so important. We also see around the world, it's interesting that there's all these tankers coming into New Brunswick and coming into Canada from countries that don't share our values or standards. And yet,
Mm.
all of these protests have been focused uh, completely on shutting down Canadian projects, Canadian construction. This is labor and non labor, Indigenous, non Indigenous. Every province and territory stands to benefit from these developments, but we've seen this very well organized and well funded attack against our prosperity ultimately and our security. And going forward, it needs to stop.
And so you're in broad ways, you're outlining a lot of things that perhaps have been lost here in Canada, that we've lost not just opportunities, but we talk about the economic losses of not getting our product out. What else has been lost, even diplomatically, when we look at countries who've begged us for our oil and gas or our energy, and we say no thanks?
Yeah, I mean, Canada's standing in the world, in my opinion, has been diminished. Our ability to leverage our natural economic strength, which is our natural resources, has been diminished. Europe came asking for Canadian liquefied natural gas, and they were told that there was no business case. Since that happened, those countries in Europe, they've been buying their liquefied natural gas from the United States. They've been buying it from the Middle East. And it's a huge loss for Canada. We need to reorient ourselves, our position in the world as a force for good, as a beacon of hope and democracy, sharing our values, and at the same time, benefiting Canadian families and communities from all walks of life and all geographies across the nation. It's a really important opportunity now that we have at hand. We
Yes.
have to do this 180 here and fix these issues.
And even when I think back to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, I mean, immediately there were concerns and understandably of energy dependence on Russia. And what role could Canada have played there had we said yes?
Well, Russia's used energy as a weapon, and Russia has tried to increase the cost of energy, and that's caused energy poverty, and that's caused a lot of families to choose between food or energy. There's a lot of instances of energy poverty and the repercussions on societies, the deindustrialization of Europe across Europe, for example. That's a loss of manufacturing jobs that are going elsewhere. There's huge long-term costs. Germany, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Latvia, Ukraine, Estonia, numerous European countries that would be our allies and trading partners and friends have asked Canada to step up. So far, they've seen no action. So, what does it say about Canada? Are we really that reliable trading partner? And are we doing our best to help advance the values that home of democracy that we really see to be important in the world. And I don't think we've been doing all that we can or all that we should. And we need to fix that.
Well, when we come back from commercial break, we're going to talk about the new government and if they will be changing course in their first term under Mark Carney. We'll be right back.